No fancy analysis here, just me sharing my thoughts as I read the Bible. I'm actually going to be reading Genesis 14 for the second time. I have read this once before, but it was really quickly and I just kind of breezed through it, so I thought I'd read it again, a number of the chapters in Genesis. So I am Mountainsmith. Follow me along if you would like. I just kind of come up with some ideas and thoughts as I go along, and let's get right into it here. Previously, Abram and Lot had separated, and then the call of Abram. So Abram and Lot separated. Lot went down and found someplace near Sodom, and the Lord told Abram, hey, you know what? Everywhere else that you see, that's all yours. So now we get into 14 here. Abram rescues Lot. I don't even remember this. This is why you have to read it again. It's a very difficult read for anyone who's reading the Bible for the first time, because I've never read past Genesis, the chapter. All right. Abram rescues Lot. About this time, war broke out in the region. We have all these king names. I'm going to totally screw them up. I'm going to breeze right through it. It's in Genesis 14 if you want to read the names. About this time, war broke out in the region. Now, why would war break out? That's the big question. And which area? Because Sodom was different where Abram is. So, Abram rescues Lot. About this time, war broke out in the region. King Abram of Babylonia, King Erech of Elasar, King Caradol of Elam, and King Tidal of Goim fought against King Bera of Sodom, King Bersha of Gomorrah, King Shinab of Adam, King Shemer of Zimeo, and the king of Bela, also called Zoar. So that's 4 kings against 5. Now, I don't know where all these places are, but okay. The second group of kings joined forces in Siddim Valley, that is the Valley of the Dead Sea. So the Dead Sea is a real place, we know that much. For 12 years they had been subject to King Kedorlaomer, but in the 13th year they rebelled against him. So King Kedorlaomer, he was part of the first 4. So the second group of kings, though, that group of 5, forces in the Siddim Valley, that is the Valley of the Dead Sea, they're in the Valley of the Dead Sea. And for 12 years, they've been fighting against, for 12 years, they've been subject to King Kedorlaomer, the first of those in Babylon. Okay. So 1 year later, Kedorlaomer and his allies arrived and defeated the Rephites at Eshtar-Karan, the Zutites at Ham. Oh, Ham. So this is where we get these descendants, because remember, Ham, Japheth, and Shem. So are these all the descendants way that we didn't actually get to talk about one before? And the Emites at Shevav, Kirith, I can't say these, and the Horites at Mount Seir, as far as El Paran and the edge of the wilderness. Then they turned back and came to En Mishpat, now called Kadesh, and conquered all the territory of the Amalekites, and all the Amorites living in Hazan Tamar. Then the rebel kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Adam, Zephrai, and Bela, also called Zor, prepared for battle in this valley of the Dead Sea. They fought against King Kedorlaomer of Elam, the king Tidal of Goim, the king of Babylonia, and the king Erech of Elasar. 4 kings against 5. As it happens, the Valley of the Dead Sea was filled with tar pits. And as the army of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into the tar pits, while the rest escaped into the mountains. It feels like that's very specific. They fell into the tar pits. It feels like that's very specific for a reason. I'm not entirely sure. So, fought against King Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay. Some fell into their parts, while the rest escaped into the mountains. The victorious invaders then plundered Sodom and Gomorrah and headed for home, taking with them all their spoils of war and the food supplies. They also captured Lot, Abram's nephew, who lived in Sodom, and carried off everything he owned. So the victorious invaders then plundered Sodom and Gomorrah and headed for home, taking with them the spoils of war and the food supplies. Then they also captured Lot. So these are the 4 kings right? Then they rebelled against Sodom and Gomorrah. They fought against King Harab, 4 against 5. As it happens, the valley of the sea was filled with tar pits, and as the army of the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into the tar pits while the rest escaped. I wondered, that seems like really bad strategic planning though also. Like that group of 5 kings, if that's where the second group of kings joined forces in Siddim Valley, that is the Valley of the Dead Sea. So those 5 went down there to join forces, and yet it's filled with tar pits, so for whatever reason, they all fell in. Feels like they could have fought that a little bit better, maybe. What do I know? I'm not there. But they did capture Lot, the 4 kings. But one of Lot's men escaped and reported everything to Abram, the Hebrew, who was living near the oak grove belonging to Mamre, the Amorite. Mamre and his relatives Eshtrol and Ener were Abram's allies. This is the first time actually they also state here in the Bible, reported everything to Abram, the Hebrew. Okay, so he's a Hebrew. When Abram heard that his nephew Lot had been captured, he mobilized the 318 trained men who had been born into his household. Then he pursued Chedorlaomer's army until he caught up with them at Dan. There he divided his men and attacked during the night. Chedorlaomer's army fled, but Abram chased them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. Abram recovered all of the goods that had been taken, and he brought back his nephew Lot with his possessions and all of the women and other captives. So this is interesting. Abram had 318 trained men, so he had a small army. They've been training. They went after him. They went after the king. They chased after them as far as Hobah, north of Damascus. So we know where Damascus is. Abram recovered all of the goods that had been taken, and he brought back his nephew Lot with his possessions and all the women and other captives. So Abram basically rescues, and his 318 men rescues Lot and everybody else. I am kind of curious, Abram, how much time they have been putting into training. Did Abram then suddenly become this warrior? And is that what they've been doing? Because I thought he was just a herdsman. Like they were all herdsmen. So was he decided to create his own little army? Is that basically what he did? It's what it sounds like. So I don't know how to say this. Melchizedek blesses Abram. After Abram returned from his victory from Chedorlaomer and all his allies, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley of Shevev. That is the king's valley. Here's another thought too. So after Abram returned from his victory over Chedorlaomer, so what happened with Chedorlaomer? Basically, there was a divided mission. They attacked during the night. Chedorlaomer's army fled, but Abram chased them as far as Korah north. Abram recovered all the goods that had been taken. So then he pursued Korah until he caught them up with Dan. There he divided his men and attacked. It doesn't actually say that he killed the king. It doesn't say that he killed any of the kings. Actually, Abram, they just divided and attacked. And then they collected everything. So I'm wondering, did they actually kill him or not? The kings that took Lot. So after Abram returned from his victory over Chedorlaomer and all his allies, the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley of Shevev. That is the king's valley. And Melchizedek, the king of Salem, and a priest of God Most High, brought Abram some bread and wine. Melchizedek blessed Abram with this blessing. Blessed be Abram by God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has defeated your enemies for you. So, okay, wait, this is a little confusing though. As Melchizedek, the king of Salem, and a priest of God Most High. What is God Most High? Are they just referring to the Lord, God? It seems maybe the translation is different. I'm not really sure how to read that. That's what it says. And blessed be God Most High. Then Abram gave Melchizedek a tenth of all the goods he had recovered. The king of Sodom said to Abram, Give back my people who were captured, but you may keep for yourself all the goods you have recovered. Abram replied to the king of Sodom, I solemnly swear to the Lord, God Most High, creator of heaven and earth, that I will not take so much as a single thread or sandal thong from what belongs to you. Otherwise, you might say, I am the one who made Abram rich. I will accept only what my young warriors have already eaten, and I request that you give a share fair of all the goods to my allies, Ener, Estrol, and Mamre. The king of Sodom said to Abram, give back my people who were captured, but you may keep for yourself all the goods you have recovered. It's kind of like what I'm kind of reading in between there is if the king of Sodom is saying that, and Abram gave Melchizedek a tenth of all the goods he had recovered, it's almost like Abram, this is one of those, I found it, I collected it, it's mine. Doesn't matter if it was yours previously, it's now mine sort of situation. And this puts Abram in an interesting light, at least in my mind. I'm really trying to think of how that is, because no matter that there was a war, no matter that he knows full well that whatever he recovered from these kings that took it anyway, Abram is like, hey, you know what, finders keepers, too bad. But he's willing to give back some of it. And now the king, give back my people who were captured, because it sounds like Abram said, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and keep these people also, because I captured them and I recovered everything. So now it's all mine.